There's this modern tendency to reduce greatness to raw scoring averages, and that's exactly where a lot of the Giannis Antetokounmpo versus Tim Duncan debates start to go sideways. People look at Giannis putting up 30 a night and then glance at Duncan's career high of 25 points per game and think that tells the whole story, when it actually doesn't. Not even close. Because if you actually dig into what matters most, playoff dominance, impact across every phase of the game, and the ability to elevate your level when everything slows down, Duncan's case becomes overwhelming. The regular season is one thing, the playoffs are where legacies are defined, and when you line up Duncan's best playoff series, not just one or two, but a consistent body of work, you start to see something different entirely. You're not just looking at a great player, you're looking at one of the most complete, dominant postseason forces the game has ever seen. Start with 1999, Duncan's first championship run. In the semifinals, he puts up 29 points and 10.8 rebounds on 51% shooting. That's already elite production, especially considering the air. This wasn't today's pace and space NBA. This was a grit and out, physical, low possession league where scoring was harder and defenses were more punishing. Then he follows that up in the finals with 27.4 points and 14 rebounds on 53% shooting. That's not just good, that's total control of a championship series. He wasn't just scoring, he was owning the glass and anchoring the defense. Fast forward to 2001, and he's doing it again. In the semifinals, Duncan averages 27 points and a ridiculous 17.4 rebounds on 51% shooting. 17 rebounds per game in a playoff series is insane. That's not just effort, that's dominance. That's dictating possessions. Every missed shot becomes yours. Every defensive stand ends with you. Then you hit 2002, which might be one of the most overlooked stretches of Tim Duncan's career. In the first round, he averages 25.8 points, 11 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 5.8 blocks per game. Read that again, almost 6 blocks per game in a playoff series. That's not just rim protection, that's defensive intimidation at a historic level. He's not just affecting shots, he was erasing them, and on top of that, facilitating pretty good. That's a two-way masterclass. In the semifinals that same year, he goes arguably even bigger on the glass, 29 points and 17.2 rebounds per game, plus over 3 blocks. Even with a slightly lower field goal percentage, the sheer volume of impact is undeniable. He's controlling the tempo, possessions, and interior defense all at once. Then comes 2003, the peak of Tim Duncan, and one of the greatest playoff runs ever. In the Western Conference Finals, he puts up 28 points, 16.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and 3 blocks on 56% shooting. That's a stat line you almost never see, especially in a conference finals setting against tough competition. It's not just scoring and rebounding anymore. He's running offense through the post, making reads, and still anchoring the defense. And then the finals, 24.2 points, 17 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 5.3 blocks per game. That's one of the most complete finals performances ever. You can't even categorize it cleanly. He's doing everything. He's your primary scorer, your top rebounder, your defensive anchor, and arguably your top playmaker. That kind of all-around impact is incredibly rare. Jump to 2005, in Duncan, he is still delivering. In the semifinals, he averages 25.2 points and 10.3 rebounds. Then, in the Western Conference Finals, he goes up to 27.4 points and 13.8 rebounds on 52% shooting. Even as the league starts to shift and new stars emerge, Duncan remains a constant force. His game doesn't rely on athleticism in the same way. It's built on positioning, timing, and the IQ. By 2007, he's still capable of dominant bursts. In the semifinals, averages 26.8 points, 13.7 rebounds, and 4.2 blocks on 57% shooting. That's peak level efficiency paired with elite defensive production nearly a decade into his career. So, when you lay out all 10 of these series, a pattern becomes clear. Tim Duncan wasn't just having one off explosions, he was consistently reaching this level across multiple years, multiple playoff runs, and multiple championship teams. And what stands out the most isn't just the scoring, it's the balance. That's where the comparison to Giannis gets interesting. Giannis is an incredible player, no question. His scoring numbers jump off the page. He can give you 30 plus, attack the rim relentlessly, and dominate in the transition. But the question isn't whether Giannis can score more points in a given season or series. The question is, can he match the totality of what Tim Duncan brought? Because Duncan's greatness wasn't built on scoring alone. It was scoring plus elite rebounding, plus rim tech protection, plus defensive communication, plus offensive organization from the post. When you see a series when someone is averaging close to 25 points, over 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks, you're looking at a level of control over the game that goes beyond just putting the ball in the basket. And that's the key point. There are players who can match one or two of those categories. Plenty of players can score 30 in a playoff series. Someone can rebound at a high level. A few can block shots. But combining all of that consistently against playoff competition, that is rare territory. Even the example of nearly 30 points and 15 plus rebounds, Tim Duncan hit that level multiple times. And again, this is an era where possessions were fewer, spacing was tighter, and big men were battling in the paint every single play. The physical tool alone makes those numbers more impressive. Another thing that often gets overlooked is how Duncan's style translated to winning. His numbers weren't empty, they directly correlated with deep playoff runs and, of course, championships. Every one of those series I mentioned wasn't just statistically impressive, they mattered. These were high leverage games, often against top tier opponents with seasons on the line. Giannis absolutely has his own historic moments. His 50-point game in the 2021 finals is one of the greatest performances ever, but the broader argument here is about sustained playoff dominance across multiple dimensions. Tim Duncan wasn't just capable of greatness, he delivered it repeatedly in slightly different forms depending on what his team needed. That adaptability is another layer. Some series he leaned more into scoring, others he dominated the glass, and some he became a defensive wall, in others he facilitated more. That versatility allowed his teams to adjust without losing their identity because Tim Duncan could still fill any gap. So when someone says Tim Duncan isn't on Giannis's level because of scoring averages, it misses the bigger picture. Tim Duncan's value wasn't about leading the league in points, It was about controlling every aspect of the game when it mattered most. And these 10 playoff series are proof of that. They show a player who could rise to the occasion not just once, but over and over again. A player who could impact the game in ways that went far beyond scoring. A player who, when you needed a win in the playoffs, could give you elite production across the board and anchor both ends of the floor. Tim Duncan's best playoff series even stack up against even the greatest NBA players. So that'll be it for this video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I much appreciate it if you click the like button. Thank you for watching.